Northwestern beats Michigan State 88-74. I kind of had a side eye on this game while we were doing the podcast. I know you did as well, Kent. What were some of your thoughts about this big Northwestern win over Michigan State?
Yeah, I know Russ was talking about ranking the coaches in the conference. Coach Collins is my favorite coach. I think he is I still think he is the best coach. I think given 5 of the exact same level talent guys in a couple weeks to prepare, Coach Collins would win every tournament because I think he X's and O's does the best job. I think he gets the most out of the guys that he has. I am surprised by this game, though. I will say I was fully back on the Michigan State bandwagon. I thought that after a little bit of a rough start that they had, the Baylor game was what really turned it around for me, like blowing them out at a semi-neutral location and then kind of getting hot on the next couple of games as well. I thought Michigan State would win this game. I thought that they were going to be able to go on the road and win. How dumb of me to think that in this conference, that someone could win any road game. But I'm also not surprised by this. I think that I talked last week on my podcast, actually, that this was the game that I was most excited about this weekend after Friday night. And I think that these teams are pretty evenly matched. They didn't play at Michigan State yet, did they? Obviously, it's pretty early on. So I'll be excited to see them go back up to Michigan State if they're even playing that game. We're noticing that some teams aren't playing twice this year. But anyways, at any rate, I'm surprised Michigan State lost, but I'm also not surprised that Northwestern won. Is that possible to say in the same breath?
Northwestern does face Michigan State on March 6th at Michigan State. So
that'd be great.
See this again. No, I think the story of the game was Boo Buie and Ty Berry, right? Boo Buie comes away with 19 points, 10 assists. Ty Berry has 24 points. Didn't really do much outside of that, but when you're scoring over 20, that's kind of what you need to do for your team to win. And at the end of the day, Michigan State just didn't really have an answer for him with defense, and it really showed throughout the game. Tyson Walker was getting really heated at one point. I think it was him that got a tech. Like I said, I was just watching. I didn't get to hear it because we were on the podcast, but he got the tech. So you really feel a lot of frustration coming from this Michigan State team right now. And if Tom Izzo isn't careful, that could start to derail the team. Now, Tom Izzo, one of the best coaches in the conference, if not the best coach in the conference. I know that's a heated discussion, but I think everybody can agree he's at least one of the best. And so he needs to get this team under the control. If anybody can do it, it's Tom Izzo. But I think we're looking at a scary situation here for Spartan fans because it doesn't seem like things are going in the right direction. Russ, what were your thoughts on this game?
Yeah, and I wasn't keeping as much of a side eye on it, but when we came on, I think it was something like a 59-41 or 59-43 ball game for Northwestern. And at that time, Boo Buie only had 6 points. So it wasn't, people were going to look at this box score and think, oh, Bowie had a pretty good game. And he did, but he had 10 of their last 13 points to kind of help salt the game away. It wasn't a game where he really played a huge factor in them dominating Michigan State. But, Michigan State they're in trouble. I mean, 9-6. And, I know you talked about them maybe turning around after you made the prediction that they're going to miss the tournament. And a lot of the metrics like Ken Palm and the net out there still love Michigan State, but they play at Illinois this Thursday is their next game. They have Illinois twice left. They still got to play Purdue. They still got to play Wisconsin. And, having 9 wins, possibly dropping to 9-6 after that Illinois game, you're going to have to, rack some wins together to make a case for getting in the tournament, even as like a last 4 or next 4 in. So that's one thing I'm watching after this game is not just how well Northwestern plays this year, but how does Michigan State turn it around?
Are you guys already playing? Sorry, JR, I didn't mean to cut you off. But are you guys already playing the schedule game where, like, for Russ, for like Michigan State, for example, you said they're at 9 wins. Like, do you try to look for 11 more wins on their schedule? I like to play that game before I fall asleep at night on my phone. It's a really fun one.
100%. I did it a lot when we did the New Year's resolution show, where you sit there and you look at a team's non-conference and go, man, even if they go 12-8 in the Big Ten, that puts them at 19 wins on the season. Like, that's going to be hard to make a case for getting in the tournament. So you're definitely, I think early January, mid-January is definitely the time you start having to, especially if you're one of those bubble teams right now, or one of the teams that they're even saying is out of the tournament, because a lot of places only have like 6 or 7 teams in the Big Ten in the tournament at this point. Like, you've got to play that game.
I think we should only have 3 from the Big Ten make the tournament this year. That would be ideal.
Only 3?
Yeah.
You're going to knock your boy Chris Collins out? Man, you just said such nice things about him.
Northwestern's 3.
Oh,
okay. It's Purdue, Wisconsin, and Northwestern.
Okay.
I'm kidding, by the way. I'm kidding. I'm kidding,
Illinois fans. Don't come for me.
Yeah. I'm joking.
You don't talk about angry coaches like Willard. You look out for Underwood. He's not very happy looking dude.
No,
either.
I like it. I said I'm back. I said I'm back on Illinois on this show. I said I'm a believer now, even after the loss.
You were the one though that said that you wouldn't get a beer with Brad Underwood, though, right?
Did I remember I made a list last year of like which coaches.
I think that was Spartan Dog, maybe, because he was the one that did the coaching rank show. Yeah.
I made a list of the football coaches I think I wanted to have a beer with the most. I can't remember who I had first at this point. It had to be like Loxley or somebody.
Loxley would be good.
Bielema's probably got some stories when you get him at the bar.
Who's that?
Bielema, he's probably got some stories.
Oh, yeah. That's a good one, too. Yeah. Right. He was definitely in the top 5 for sure. Yeah.
On topic, it's a basketball episode. We can't talk too much football. When I kind of play the same game, and I like to look at bracketologists.com. They're a really good website for this kind of stuff. And Northwestern, they have only a handful of quad 1 games at the moment still left for them. They have Wisconsin. They play at Wisconsin. They have at Nebraska, Illinois, and at Michigan State. So if Northwestern wants to get into the tournament, they're going to have to win at least 2 or 3 of those in my mind, and then they're going to have to dominate the rest of their quad 2 games and their quad 3 games. Not obviously they'll have to win every single one of those, but you can't drop the ones you're supposed to win in this scenario. And that Chicago State loss is going to look really, really bad on Northwestern. That's going to be one that's going to be hard for them to overcome. So they're going to have a better quad 1 record than like a 50-50. They're probably going to have to, be 5-4, 6-3, something like that in their quad 1 games if they want to be able to conquer that. And I don't think Northwestern. Oh, no, they do play Purdue again. That's another one of their quad 1 games.
Well, I was going to say, you can't really, I feel like from my perspective as a diehard Northwestern fan, I think that the Chicago State and Purdue games at least have to cancel each other out. I don't think that you could say that hurts you. And if anything, I would say that if you just take those 2 games alone, it helps them more than anything. I mean, that's a massive win. And I feel like, I will be shocked if Northwestern doesn't make the tournament. I love them so much. I love the coach so much. I love the way that they play. I will be really surprised if they don't make it this year.
Imagine looking at Big Ten teams at the end of the season and you're in that committee room and you're looking at Northwestern going, man, they have the best win and the worst loss. How does this happen?
Yeah. Yeah, right.
I agree. Just cancel them out. Well, here's the thing, and I always like looking at the standings of like other groups and stuff like that, but Net has them at 80 right now, which is kind of baffling to me, but it's probably because of the Chicago State loss. KenPom has them at 67, sorry. BPI has them at 58. The only thing that they are top 50 in is KPI. So they're really going to have to get some of those rankings up if they want to be a tournament team. Now, I think they can do it. I think that Boo Buie is fantastic. I'm not as high on him as other people are. I know other people want to call him the best guard in the league. I think he's top 3. I wouldn't take him as the best guard in the league, but I still think that Chris Collins has himself a really good team here, and I think it's not just the Boo Buie show. Ty Berry is really good. Brooks Barnhizer, Langborg, and Nicholson. I'm also high on Matthew Nicholson, the big man for them as well. So I think.
Do you think they're better than Nebraska?
Yeah, I think Northwestern's better than Nebraska, personally.
So update.
I think they're better than Ohio State too.
One of the great things about KenPom is they update it almost real time. So Northwestern's up to 56 in KenPom now.
Let's go.
That's an 11-point jump in KenPom for 1 win. Pretty big.
That's pretty big.
Go Cats.
Okay, so Kit, you don't believe me? You don't think Northwestern's better than Ohio State?
Man, that's tough. I like Ohio State a lot, so that's tough to say. I think that's a great matchup, but I lean Northwestern.
Yeah,
I guess.
What do you think, Russ? Ohio State or Northwestern? Which one's better?
I got to take Ohio State if I'm betting on that game.
I think so.
Northwestern, they look like that frustrating team that Purdue loses to, and then they drop a lot of other games, and you're like, man, can't you do some other work to make that loss look not as bad? But
it's funny how much my mind changes after each and every single game. Like, you're asking me right now if Northwestern's better than Ohio State after they just beat Michigan State. If you would have asked me that same question right after the Illinois game, I'd be like, oh, Ohio State, easy, Ohio State. Like, it's just crazy how much it can switch in my brain.
It can. So,
yeah.
All right. Michigan State, what do you guys think? Are you with me? You think they're going to not make the tournament? You think they will? Just vibes. What are your thoughts?
I don't know. I always feel like Michigan State. I have a couple of really good Michigan State friends, and I've always given them a hard time about the tournament and how they didn't make the tournament the year that UCLA beat them in the play-in game. So they actually did miss the tournament recently because they didn't win the play-in game. They didn't get to play in the tournament. They lost the play-in game. No, but in all seriousness, I think Michigan State gets the benefit of the doubt at all times. So if they can get to 18 wins even, the committee's going to be like, we got to put Tom Izzo in here. You guys know what he can do in this tournament. We got to put him in. So I think for that reason, I would say that they still have a very good chance to make the tournament. But you're right, man. You're looking at the numbers at this point. They're good. I think they have to turn it around. I think they have a harder time making the tournament than Northwestern at this point.
Wow. What do you think,
I
Russ?
do. I mean, I don't know.
Yeah, I'm looking at the math, and I think they can only lose like 4 or 5 more games to be able to get to even 19 wins. And you're talking about at Illinois. You're talking about still having, Purdue on the schedule. You're talking about Illinois actually twice. Sorry, Illinois at home. You got at Indiana. The game is at Purdue against Purdue. You've got Northwestern still. Minnesota's looking better, and it's at Minnesota. The Barn's always a tough place to play. At Wisconsin. It's they're going to play some perfect basketball if they're going to make the tournament, I think. But yeah, they are a team that gets the legacy treatment. If they get to 18 wins, I'm sure they end up being like one of the last 4 in, and then we'll get to watch them lose to like Wyoming, and we'll be like, "What were you thinking, committee?"
They were thinking they got to extend the streak. They got to keep the streak alive, which I don't understand. Why I don't get it. There's been multiple years I feel like they were not. Like I would say in the last 10 years, there's been at least 2 years where I didn't think they deserved to get in and they still got in. So I don't know.
I think Michigan State is that team this year that needs the Big Ten to be good in order to make the tournament. And that's my biggest thing with them is
they're in trouble then.
Yeah, I don't think the Big Ten is, respected like they have been in the past, because in the past, Big Ten teams have gotten those out-of-conference wins to earn them a bit more respect. But Ohio State and Penn State both lost to Texas A&M. Northwestern lost to Mississippi State. There's really the only team that dominated their out of conference against, good teams out of conference was Purdue. I know Wisconsin beat Virginia and they had another win out of conference. What was it? Marquette, I think.
Yep.
But then they lost to another team as well. I can't remember off the top of my head.
Arizona. They got drugged by Arizona.
Yeah, they lost to Arizona as well. So, Purdue and Wisconsin are helping things out, but Ohio State, they didn't do a good job out of conference. And really nobody else. I guess Michigan beat Stanford and St. John's, but I just don't think the Big Ten has the respect this season that Michigan State needs the Big Ten to have. Because what did Michigan made it? Michigan made it like a couple years ago when they were like 17-14 or something like that. Like they were almost 500 and they still made it. I can't see that happening with Michigan State this year, and I think they need that. So I'm sticking with it. I might lose my bet to Tricky, but I'm sticking with it. I don't think Michigan State's going to make the tournament. We'll see what happens.
Hold on, what's the bet?
I think I have to send him a Buckeye, which I don't even live in Ohio, so I don't know how I'm going to do that. But I have to send him a Buckeye nut if I lose, and then if he loses, he's going to send me like some Old Bay and other stuff from Maryland, which I can pick up Old Bay at Kroger. So I don't know why I'm getting that, but apparently this is authentic Old Bay. I don't know.
Oh yeah, it's a real deal.
But since I'm on the Big Ten Huddle, I don't get to make like if we win, we make a bet, kind of stuff with them. So this is kind of my bet to make with them because Tricky thinks that Michigan State will still make the tournament. So. Listen to the Big Ten Huddle. Please do like and subscribe. We appreciate that. If this was your first time listening, we are the Big Ten Huddle. We cover all things Big Ten football and basketball. We have a long episode every Sunday, Tuesday, and Wednesday night, all at 9 o'clock. So come in, check us out, get in the chat, let us know what you're thinking. We would love to have you join us and learn more about the Big Ten.